We're shooting this with a JVC compact VHS camcorder.
So this is the JVC compact VHS camcorder, GRAX640.
It came out in 1998. It has a 50 times zoom and 1100 milliamp hour battery.
And it comes with this daisy chain charger for like power outlet usage.
Yeah, so like it would connect to a brick that you would attach the battery to, and then from that brick you could run a wire to the camera itself in case you were like hooking it up to the TV.
So the form of this camera, it's small, it's compact, and it's a really good weight for like extended use.
It's a really good weight because it's mainly made out of plastic.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like metal on the inside.
Yeah, like the
but,
gears.
like the frame and all of like the external paneling is all just plastic. It weighs maybe like 1.5 pounds,
Yeah.
if that.
So it doesn't feel like you're carrying around like a boulder.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
while you're filming, you're not gonna get like any arm fatigue, you know.
So it comes with these cassettes. They're called VHS-Cs. They're a smaller version of what essentially would be a VHS tape.
Yeah, just compact VHS.
And it loads into the side. There's this door that opens.
So the design of the door is like just over-engineered. You
Yeah.
know, it has at least 200 different little gears inside
Yeah,
that.
it's way more intricate than you think.
It just like opens up and there's like a labyrinth of just stuff going on inside, you know.
It also comes with a lens cover.
Since the lens wasn't detachable, you would want to, you know, protect it, but you wouldn't want a detachable like lens cover just in case like you were taking this on a trip and you lose the lens cover and then something goes wrong.
So it's actually hard to find information about this online, especially like around the time it came out. We were trying to look at a price. The package that we got, and we bought this off of eBay like 24 years later. So, but the price on the package that we have says $299.99. Now that could have been a clearance price, but seeing that this camera doesn't have a lot of features that, you know, comparable cameras would have had at the time, kind of leads us to believe that this maybe was a budget, like a warehouse cleanout package, especially given that it comes with all of these accessories.
So one of the accessories that I find really interesting is it comes with like a VHS tape adapter, because the tapes that this camera takes are compact VHS, you know, so you would put the compact VHS in the adapter and it would essentially turn it into a full-size VHS tape that you could fit in any VHS player,
Yeah,
you know,
any
at the
VCR.
time.
And if you don't feel like using the tape adapter, it does have composite for video out, so you could just plug this into the TV using a composite cord.
The camera does have a 50 times zoom, and I think it's able to pull that off because the lens inside the camera is moving. You know, it's not like doing any kind of digital zooming, it's actual like magnification, because it looks really good. You know?
Surprisingly. And you know, with the zoom feature, it has a stabilizer. I mean, is it really that effective? We've shown it in some of our footage.
Yeah.
You definitely can tell a difference if you put them side by side for comparison, but
It's definitely not something you would want to use if you're trying to capture like good footage.
Yeah.
You would just move closer.
yeah.
You know?
And you know, recording with this camera, it's easy. So it comes with two modes, auto and pro. The auto mode is the most convenient to use because it's literally just press and go. The problem with this is if you're shooting in higher low light environments, the exposure isn't adaptive to that. So if you're walking into a bright environment from a darker environment, the camera in auto mode doesn't really know how to adjust to that. And it's the same in pro mode, but it has more options to adjust the picture.
Yeah, it seems like on auto it's just hooked on like one setting.
Yeah.
And if it does change, it doesn't change very fast, you know. But in pro mode, you can do it all manually. So the camera does have some cool transitional features. The first one is mosaic. It's like you have a really pixelated image and then it does like a focus and then it goes back to being pixelated. You have a fade where it just fades in and out of the image.
Yeah, it's like a dip to white.
Yeah, it's like on a timer.
Yeah. The problem with these transitions, and while it's cool that they're included, you can't adjust the speed of them. So you just gotta kind of hope that like it's gonna fit whatever you're trying to do. Because the slide is like glacial.
Yeah.
It takes like a full 5 seconds to slide across the screen. And you also have filters, like there's a twilight mode, which is meant for darker or low light settings, which turned out to actually be pretty effective. I would say out of all of these filters, it's probably, it does its job the best. There's an ND effect, which just kind of creates like what I thought would be like a vignette around the frame, but it actually just darkens the frame. I can't really think of what a use for that would be outside of you not wanting to adjust the exposure and you're in like a highlight environment.
Unless
Maybe
you
that
just
would be
like the way it
useful.
looks.
Yeah, I don't know. And then there's a sepia mode, which is just sepia tone. There's negative, which looks really funky.
Yeah, inverts all the colors.
Yeah, that one's fun. And then you have fog, which does pretty much the exact same thing that the ND effect does, but the inverse of it. It just brightens the frame. In the manual, it describes it as like a dreamlike effect, but it just looks like a washed out image.
Yeah.
And then you have sport mode and shutter mode, which kind of go hand in hand. They both shoot at like a higher shutter speed. Put them side by side, they're not entirely distinguishable. But I would say more so with the zoom here, the stabilizer feature is probably best for this, for both of these.
Yeah, all of these features feel like a checklist. You know, like whenever they're trying to sell this product, they're like,
Yeah.
this product can do. It has all of these different filters.
Yeah, you can
and
create dreamlike
transitions.
footage.
Yeah, and like has all these editing modes. Like it
Yeah.
just feels like they checked every box that they could, even though hardly any of them are really worth anything.
Yeah.
You know.
You use them once and you're like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah. But you would never film something meaningful like with your family with any of these turned on.
No.
You know.
Shoot an entire home video with the negative mode.
Yeah.
Given all of that in 1998, this would have been perfect to bring on like a family trip. It's small and compact, easy to carry around. It's got a good build, so you don't have to worry about your kid dropping it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the battery for this camera being like 24 years old, the battery lasted like
The
all
whole-
day for us.
Yeah,
You know? Like it lasted as long as like the tape lasted, you know.
Yeah.
A good hour
Yeah.
of just like straight recording. It was pretty amazing. So this is the Flexi Mount PC microphone. It came out in 1998.
And we actually received this in its original packaging. And already it kind of feels cheap. It has that like clearance rack at like the Ross Dress for Less kind of packaging to it.
Yeah, it's just like a thin piece of plastic with like a piece of cardboard on the back
Staples
holding
in
it
it.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. So this thing is actually meant to mount on the top of your computer. It comes with this 24-year-old adhesive that we're not even going to bother with. But it can also be removed from the mount and used as like a lapel mic.
And it comes with a clip which slides into the grooves of the neck of the mic, and it's a lot more secure than you would think because
Yeah.
it's using like friction to just hold it together, you know.
Yeah. And you know, the sound quality of it doesn't have glowing reviews for the time or for now. People are still buying this. We actually bought this on Amazon. It was the last one available.
Yeah, we had Prime shipping.
Yeah, and we were actually surprised by the quality of it. It's not to say it's anywhere near excellent, but it exceeded expectations relative to what we thought it was going to be like.
Yeah. The mic would just hook onto that little tiny part.
This is what it sounds like at this distance from my mouth. I'm talking to you, we're doing an interview.
Yes.
Try it, buddy.
You try it?
Yeah, you try it.
This is what it sounds like facing forward.
Yeah.
This is what it sounds like facing down. So we're starting down here, and now we're moving up here, and now we're moving back down here, and now we're moving back up here.
It's very tinny, but the fact that you can actually listen to it and make out like a human voice is more than what we even expected.
Yeah.
Now, when would you have used this mic back in 1998? Probably like early iterations of this mic advertised a VoIP service called Rocket Talk, which is obviously now defunct. You can't even find anything online. But that would have been its intended use. Like this is pre-Skype, pre-Discord. But typically you would want to buy this kind of mic now for like video calls or game chat.
Yeah, so we actually tried using it for that. Do you have a mic?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. How's my microphone quality? I'm using an older mic.
I wouldn't say it's the best, but I mean, I've never played the game before.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're really quiet.
My bad, dude. So both of the people in the game could hear me, but I was very quiet to them.
You had to pick up the mic and bring it close to your mouth for them to even like fully make out your voice.
Yeah.
It's very quiet. And this is just the
unfiltered
mic audio. There's no boost or anything. And for the time, like audio gain and audio boosting in like real time wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Like now you can pull up OBS and boost audio to your heart's desire.
So the company that made this is Labtech. They offered budget alternatives to like mics, speakers, and other computer accessories.
Yeah.
And they were eventually bought out by Logitech in 2001.
Yeah. probably to get their foot in the door of like further production of computer accessories. Yeah, given that Logitech didn't really start producing gamepads or keyboards until after this buyout. They were primarily making mice and keyboards. It's just funny to see like an accessory behemoth like Logitech buying out this little dinky.
Yeah, this company that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, but if you were interested in making early primitive internet content, like circa 1998, these really wouldn't have been bad picks relative to what the standards were, you know, at the time. Say yeah.
Yep. What do you want me to say? I agree.
You can get a spot phone for $26.99 with a proof of purchase from 7-Up.
Hello? Dasher, it's for you.
Here we have the 7-Up Cool Spot landline push-button telephone.
Cool Spot first appeared in 1987 in promotion with 7-Up soft drinks. He was like their mascot. He was featured in a run of commercials back in the 90s, and he had several video games from the Genesis to the Game Boy to the NES and PS1.
So naturally, there were also several promotional items, including this phone.
So it's made to look like Cool Spot is holding the phone. You just take it off the loader. The phone itself is pretty basic.
Yeah, it's pure white, very plasticky. The buttons do feel good, they're not too clicky, and they have a good firm press.
It's also got a volume slider on the side, and it's got speakers on both sides so you can hear the phone whenever it's ringing. This would have been a neat centerpiece, likely in a kid's room, but ultimately it's just a novelty.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird promotional items that were so, like, attached to the decade.
This is still prevalent today, but brand mascots were such a huge tenet in pop culture in the 90s. I remember not being able to distinguish Tony the Tiger from Hey Arnold as far as, like, cultural significance. These things ran parallel to each other. And most of this marketing was exclusively to kids.
Yeah, so Hawaiian Punch had Punchy, Coca-Cola had the Polar Bears, and 7-Up had Cool Spot.
Yeah, and whichever mascot your kid liked the most, that's the drink that they would beg you for. This thing is a piece of history. It's very cool to have. Even if it's novel, it has some sense of practicality to it.
Anyway, thanks for listening. We only have 9,125 hours until Y2K, so we appreciate you using the last bit of your nuclear freedom to watch this video.
Did you ever own any Cool Spot memorabilia? Let us know in the comments. Bye!
Peace out.
Seven Up and your local 7-Up bottler, who wish all of you the best this holiday season.